shapes the fluid power society of India. And I'm so happy that we are all here today to meet, to network, to collaborate. I think a lot of good things are going to come out of this. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Now I request our President, Mr. Shrikant, to be on stage to come and take over from here.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and a hearty welcome to this vibrant CEO country. Friends, it's a great honor to speak to you today, National President of Fluid Power Industry of India, Fluid Power Society of India. As leaders of fluid power industry, your leadership not only defines the future of fluid power in India, but globally. Shapes the very foundation upon which number of industries run and thrive. The increasing demand for energy efficient, sustainable solutions will continue to drive innovation within our industry. The rise of IoT, data analytics, predictive maintenance systems is allowing fluid power technologies to become more smarter, more efficient, and more responsive to the needs of end users. Institutions like FPSI can provide new insights, foster innovation, and open doors to new markets. Friends, together, we must continue to advocate for the fluid power industry, ensuring that it receives the recognition and support in the Indian and the global context. Given this backdrop, at FPSI, we are striving hard to make sure that FPSI is also changing, aligning itself to the ever-changing, keeping itself relevant to its customers and industry needs. So, we have started a transformation at FPSI. What is it? First, we have started aligning our structure that enables required focus and nimble for quick decision making. So what we have done? We have split our National Council into three very important groups: core group, industry group, and academic group. We have also rationalized various committees to provide dominant focus and executive empowerment for speedy execution. Friends, we also aspire to be a globally recognized society. And hence, this year, we have started a newly formed committee that will focus on building relationships with global fluid power societies. Most of you sitting here are part of these groups or committees. I am very pleased and happy to receive a very positive response and active support from most of you here. A big thank you. You deserve a big round of applause. Thank you. Second, our initiative is aimed at improving cross-collaboration. We are exploring opportunities to join hands with other industries and associations like ICMA, VDMA, Mr. Rajesh Nath is here, Sebastian is here, and automation industry associations. We want to make sure that we work together so that we can provide better value to our members. The third initiative is aimed at outside-in thinking. I know most of you always ask this question: what is in it for me? Why should I join FPSI? Why should I spend my time that otherwise I could be using something for something else that may be more productive? So, friends, you are the only reason FPSI is in business. We want to do more for you. Not what we think we should do for you, but what you think we should do for you. we want to change at FPSI, wherein we do what you think is valuable, what you think is more important, what you think the body like FPSI should do for you. So, as a part of today's program, we are going to have a very quick CEO feedback session. I urge each one of you to provide us the honest and relevant feedback and inputs that will help us in further aligning our structure, systems, processes and culture with your needs. Friends, I also take this opportunity to humbly request you to be active ambassadors of FPSI, attracting young talent, ecosystem partners like suppliers, distributors, system integrators, service providers, various industry institutions and professionals from your network to become the members of FPSI. You must be aware that for past few years, FPSI has been working very closely with CII so that we can add value to members like you by leveraging the strength and reach of CII. One of the initiatives where FPSI partners with CII annually as a sector partner is International Engineering and Technology Fair, IETF, Fluid Power Expo. As you probably know, the Fluid Power Expo is a concurrent exhibition that is a part of the broader IETF show. Every year, FPSI offers a prominent exhibition space for its members and conducts a one-day seminar on a wide range of topics that are related to fluid power industry. This year too, Fluid Power Expo 2025 will be held from 20th to 22nd February 2025 at Pragati Maidan, New Delhi. And as a value-added service to its members, delegates will have a free admission to one-day seminar that will be arranged by FPSI. So I again humbly request you to be a part of this Fluid Power Expo and make it a grand success. Friends, we are also thinking of a cluster approach for participation of fluid power companies in ExCon, similar to what is prevalent in other global exhibitions. So if you all see value in it, then we can work with CI to offer a dedicated pavilion for FPSI members. Let's know your thoughts. We will be sending you a short survey to take your inputs on this. And depending upon your inputs, we'll take it further with CI. Friends, as again value-added service to those who would not join here and benefit from the wisdom that will be shared here, we intend to publish on the FPSI website the summary of the discussions that we will have today and the words of wisdom that our chief guest would share with us. So if you have any objections, kindly let us know so that then we'll accordingly make sure that whatever is possible and allowed, only that information will be shared on the FPSI website. Friends, in conclusion, I thank you all for your dedication and leadership in driving the fluid power industry forward. Together, we will continue to fuel the innovation that will power a more efficient, sustainable and technologically advanced world. Let us continue to lead, inspire and build a future that will shape industries for generations to come. Thank you and all the best in the Make in India drive and works continuously with domestic and global suppliers to invest in the technology. He is a strong supporter of local as well as global business partners. He is a mechanical engineer with master's degree in materials management. He is truly a lean, green and digital supply chain transformer. We are proud to have him as a chief guest today. Ladies and gentlemen, with big round of applause, I now invite Sanjay ji to share his words of wisdom with us. Sanjay ji.
So in 2021, we started a program named Strategic Sourcing Program. Strategic Sourcing Program means the way we do business with our supplier partner. Today, probably we need to revamp. Today we do on need basis, but when we thought that let us transform our overall supply chain, so it is not only the piece price, it is total value, what we have to do. So in terms of the service, in terms of the design, engineering capability, in terms of the logistic capability, in terms of the warranty, in terms of the future innovation, so everything has to be put together. And that's how we started thinking on that. So in 2021, we selected a couple of categories. For example, hydraulic cylinder was one of the categories, then hoses, then castings, and few more gearboxes. APB, what we say, annual purchasing value or spend on buying, which is close to $1.3 billion. That has been consolidated and we invited the manufacturers across the globe. And we had two conventions, one was in North America and second we did in Italy and Milan. And we showcased what we want to do, what opportunities are there, and why I am sharing this, because this is one of the experience what we are having. And I think further what I will be sharing with you, probably this will be input for a couple of CEOs sitting over here. So we engaged supplier and sorry is understand, but this is primarily more India heart. So it is it will be more towards the India side. And being an Indian, leaving aside organization, our efforts always remain that what we can do more and more and more out of this country, right? In phase 1, Indian supplier has got almost $200 million business. So, over the last many years, out of India's component export from CNH, when I say component export, means the components what Indian suppliers are exporting to CNH is only $70 to $80 million, which is nothing. The total CNH revenue is $24 billion and APB is $8 billion. Out of $8 billion, if $70 or $80 million is getting exported, this is peanuts. Doesn't make any sense. But within 1 year, we got opportunity to award business of $200 million more. So that's how SSP phase 1 already been started. Couple of component manufacturers from hydraulic area are also actively engaged. They are developing the components. They are working on those components. Now here we got a lot of surprises as well, right? Which is a book of us, right? So the way the business has been awarded, then we started discussion that we are also having our own ground reality in terms of the scale, in terms of understanding the product, in terms of the interpretation of the technical requirement, in terms of understanding the complexity when you export out of India to 40 different plants, what we are having globally in CNH. So, we are going through the uncertainties as well, and we are also going through the ambiguity as well. Right? So, this is already ongoing. But having said, we are having our tools and technologies and the engagement with the partners, we will resolve that. Important is the wave 2, where already we are working, and I think most of hydraulic manufacturers who are in pumps and valves, they are already participating in that. So in wave 2, further we have taken certain categories like gears and forgings, like forging machining, like pumps, valves, motors. So certain categories are there. I think Puneet can tell me the overall APB for this hydraulic. How much is the APB to you? Yeah. So 400 billion market basket we say for hydraulic area. And the hydraulic is wall, pumps, motors, right? And equipment as well. So this is it. Now this is important, and so I thought when I started relating with the Shesh invitation to join and speak over here, so I said I think this will be the best opportunity for me to sell myself as well, right? Here.
Good one.
And I think this is important as country, wherever you are going to participate in that. My humble request: please spend time. Please see what is the best product or technology or the category is suited for you. You participate in that. have a closer discussion and connect with the teams who are involved, like from the hydraulics. Puneet is very much involved and he is leading actually in this area, and that's why I requested him to join here as well. So he is there. So the important is, as India, I think is an opportunity for us, and we have to take this very closely, and we need to see out of 400 how much can be done. My heart says we should go really 400, but then we also need to apply our mind, because our appetite is not that we can absorb everything, right? So that is the context from CNH and business and connecting to the hydraulic community through Power Society. So that's one. Now coming back to the topic, supply chain conditions management in the VUCA time. So I would say this is a very dynamic world at this point of time. Now old days has gone, and probably old days means before pandemic, where people used to be planning for a year, for 3 years or 5 years. Now the planning is for the months, for the weeks and for the days. That's how situation is, right? And this is really VUCA where we are, because things are changing. Technology is changing every day, right? Geopolitical tensions keep on coming. Now it's like in different countries, they are like neighbors, everything you can hear what is happening, because technology is also happening. So with this kind of a situation where we are living, I think VUCA is a normal situation for us. We need to continue with that. We don't have any option. So whether we talk about volatility or whether we talk about the uncertainties or complexity or ambiguity, this will be there. And also, from India point of view, so it is nothing new for us. No? If you go to the Indian methodology where we talk about the volatility. So take the example for Droti Swambar. The Swambar was there, suddenly the Pandavas got a fortune, they got Draupadi and they went to mother, they said, Kunti, we want some mother, we want something, and she said, okay, give it to her. So that kind of volatility could be there. No? The communication is little bit weak, probably there can be different kind of a interpretation. So this is nothing new for us. We have been seeing this from the ages, we have been seeing, but what is important? Important is how we are going to handle it. That is important. And I think as far as India is concerned, and as CNH, we experience the MSME is one of the areas where we see the maximum challenges. The maximum challenges comes from the skill. Skill is the major issue. We are having the people, and I think Sriram also talked about that we need to work on the talent, and talent is important. If you throw the stone, high chances that maybe the second person will be the technical guy, right? But whether he is having the right set of the skill, that is the big issue where MSME is struggling. And this is leading another problem. So you don't have a skill, then you go to the low productivity, then you go to the quality issues, and at the end of the day, resulting in financial issues. So sustainability is important. The issue is technology. Technology is missing. Technology is available, but still people feel that technology is an option. We can't talk about the technology. The technology is available. Yes, technology is available, but how many people are using that? Still people are working with the software, Excel, maybe the basic system. Beyond that, we don't want to go. We don't want to spend time in terms of the analytics. That is the biggest issue which is coming on this MSME. And if MSME will not be improving, we will be having problem. With this current geopolitical situation and the tension where everybody is looking, and I think Rajesh and myself, and I think I was talking to somebody else as well, that we are going to have the benefits. No. On paper, we can say yes, we will be having benefits in China plus one strategy, but are we ready to do that? So our ability is under question mark, and we need to see how we are going to gear up. It is good to be happy that yes, if tomorrow there is issue with China, India will have the advantage. That is okay. But are we really ready to gear up? Post-pandemic, we have seen that there was certain jump from the demand point of view. And if I relate for the tractor industry, they are trying to produce more than 1 million tractors, right? Everybody was trying to as much as they can produce, but we were struggling to get the components. And why we were struggling? Because you was not able to get the components from tier 2 and tier 3. So I think this is one of the area where CEOs need to focus. It is not only your organization, beyond your organization, what is happening. And this is the area where, because you are going to deliver most precision and high performance related components. You are not delivering a simple fastener or a small machine component which customer can replace. You are delivering the technology. And over the period, as machines are getting smarter, your products are also becoming smarter. Now, you are not delivering mechanical wall or water pump or filtration system, all are smart systems. They are getting delivered. So, the skill improvement is one of the areas, and I urge to FPSI, please think how you are going to work with your tier 2 supplier, tier 3 supplier, how you are going to create the ecosystem of that, because that will be the future need. If really we need to compete with other nations from the technology point of view. The next most important point is engineering and design capability. So I will tell you, if you ask me what are key priorities for CNH India, I can say we are having 4 priorities. One is domestic to domestic. What we are doing in domestic, how much we can do for the domestic market. Second, what we produce here as a product, how we can take it to the next level. How we can enhance our export out of India, because that will be helping to other regions to compete with other players as well. Third is, and in fact yesterday our President and MD Mr. Mittal, he also talked about that. There was an interview in the Economic Times. So the third is the technology. Everybody knows, or most of you might be aware that we are having ITC in Gurgaon, where close to 700 engineers are working. With this global situation, further we hold the hiring. Otherwise, we would have been close to 1,000 engineers in ITC. So this is our third priority. We are strengthening technology in India to support other regions globally. So whether it's North America, whether it's Europe, or whether it's LATAM, the engineering services supporting out of India to others. Now, but let me tell you, it is not easy. Getting a talent for technology center is not easy. And here we need to work. Here we need to build that kind of ecosystem where people are there. And the fourth priority is increasing or making India a sourcing hub for other regions. And with that, right from $80 million, now we are again $200 million. Earlier we added as business, and in the wave 2, where $1.2, $1.3 billion further is coming, even though out of 1/3 will come to India, another 400 million will come. And it is not that only CNH is doing great, I think everybody is doing. Everybody is trying to bring this kind of more and more opportunity out of other regions to India. How we are going to ease our uncertainty, that is important. Then we should have a plan, we should have a system in place, and everybody is working like a part of a team. No. It is not important how many goals you are doing, but it is important whether everybody is synced with the plan. That's important. So if I need to achieve this $400 million out of India, and if my suppliers are not geared up, and whenever I ask them and they don't have the plan, then nothing can be done. No? So your readiness is important for us. Your scaling will be helping us. And that is only the way where we can make India as truly global sourcing hub. There are many technologies where already we are doing. I would not say technology, but basic commodities. We are doing pretty good. But this is the area where complexity is there, where precision is required, where talent skill is required, where special investment is required. This needs to be done. But sometimes we also need to upgrade our talent to make sure that they maintain the global standard. Now, chalta hai concept may not work more. No. VUCA point of view, I think it is not something where some rocket science will be coming. It is up to us how we are going to manage. Like, let me tell you, in our business, we are having very complex business. It is not so smooth that every day we can produce 200 tractors in Bada plant. No. Sometimes we produce 200, sometimes we produce 100 because it's seasonal business. When Diwali and Navratri they come together in a month, industry sold 1.5 lakh tractors. If there is no festival or there is heavy rains, probably you will be selling 50 or 60,000 tractors. So that kind of a flexibility, agility is required. Now, this agility can not come by stocking the component. If we will start stocking the component, then okay, after 6 months we need to produce 5,000 tractors, so let us start stocking the components. What we are going to do? We are going to mess up the financials at the end of it. Or I will start requesting you, can you keep the stock? Then I am going to mess up your financials. The point is, we need to bring that kind of agility in our system. Starting from the ground zero, the quick turnaround is important. That will be helping us because when there is volatility, when you don't know what is going to happen after 1 week, after 10 days, after 1 month, what we need to do? We need to work in the lean supply chain system, but center agile supply chain system. Now those days is gone when somebody will say, okay, I need a schedule by 25th of this month to deliver a component in February, March. No. Now we need to build that kind of supply chain which is more leaner, quicker, that will improve everything to everyone. Now we see the semiconductor investment, that is a new era which is coming now. If that kind of a discussion is happening, I think my request to this society that please focus on that. The more you will localize, the more you will be able to build your agile supply chain system. And we have been very good when we talk about the metallic components, like steel, fabrication, forging, machining, whatever we buy. Today, if I say the domestic tractor what we sell in India, my local content is 99%. 99%. And that is helping me. If suppose tomorrow I need to make 200 more machines, I can make. And that's why it is also equally important in this society because now your systems are becoming more smarter, your products are becoming, and if you continue with the global import, there will be a challenge. This needs to be addressed. Like when we say China plus one strategy, doesn't mean that you start import from China and you start with then it is not going to help us. So we need to work on that. So I think these are the points, and that's how we are trying to address from our side. The complexity is also and where you can play an important role, and you can, because you know the product, you know the technology, right? You can suggest to the OEMs or to the machine manufacturers how we can do the standardization process. Because our engineers might be following the legacy which is coming, but you are having something new or different, you can help us by doing that. So that will also be reducing the complexity, and we can do on that. I don't know how much time I have taken, but so this is something I think it can be done. And again, my request from the suppliers who are participating in SSP for hydraulics area. Feel free to reach out to Pradeep. He is available not only today, in general as well, health, clarity, and at least I will be looking that out of 400 million, at least 200 million that this is coming to India. Thank you. Thank you very much.
resilience, volatility, how to handle it, and so on and so forth. It is very practical, and that's what we like, not too much yarn. So thank you for that. We're going to have a very interesting session now. The four panelists are experienced. The topic of the day where we'll be having is India Global Manufacturing Hub for Fluid Power Products and Solutions. We have split that into two sessions. We'll have two questions which are posing to them. Each of them will have about 5 minutes around. Give a minute here and there for the first round with the first question, and then we go around again for the next question. And depending on how long each one takes, whether we have time to facilitate global scale manufacturing, this sort of ties in with what Sanjay was mentioning about scaling up our production. The second one would be in terms of, second question is infrastructure required to facilitate knowledge creation and product development in India. Now the way these questions have been structured, the first one deals with manufacturing, scaling up our manufacturing capabilities, scaling up our ability to push out more into the world, to expand our manufacturing footprints. The second question deals with knowledge creation, design capabilities, engineering services in India, and so on. The first question, enhancing the Indian ecosystem capabilities, there's some subtext to do with the 4 M's, man, method, material, machines. And what I request the panelists to speak about is what steps to be taken by industry to ensure availability of raw materials at reasonable and fairly stable prices. What can we do in the fluid power industry to improve the availability of properly trained, competent manpower? What type of manufacturing technologies, Industry 4.0, automation, robotics, AI, we have a lot of people here who are already using AI in a very innovative way. Can the fluid power industry adapt to ensure we meet world-class operational parameters? What kind of machinery and equipment should the Indian fluid power industry, particularly the MSMEs, as the chief guest has mentioned, who employ who have the greatest footprint in terms of manufacturing in India, but have the biggest challenges in terms of resources, either in terms of bank loans or employing manpower. It might surprise you that the MSMEs in India, the average number of people is only 20, and they find it very difficult to retain. This also poses problems for all of us in getting materials. So we're looking for some help from the panelists. And last of all, what can we all do to change the mindset among Indian companies to scale up our manufacturing? We can't be speaking in percentages, we have to be speaking in 2x, 3x times.
So let me thank Sanjay for being chief guest here. And actually, I've learned a first skill set. I'll use my 5 minutes towards this. Yeah. So great point what you have done. And thank you, Shesh, for wonderful topic and what you just said in 2 spaces, scaling up manufacturing and probably the engineering efforts, or the engineering skills, which is man, material, machine. So I'll start with a couple of points first. I'll try to answer it in 2 spaces here. One, MNC, multinational companies, those who have base in India. So you have access to technology. I think some of these things will be very common. We must have heard already from the earlier speakers. But it's a technology which is available to you. Now, how do I take advantage of that technology is something which we'll deliberate. The second one is the local manufacturers, probably who don't have technology today, but it's not something that MNCs have a birthright on it. It can always be developed, correct? So 2 parts to it. One, technology is available. So how do I scale up this technology, manufacturing base using the technology available to us to become a global supplier? So there are 2 sets again in that. There are my customer set, like the large OEMs construction equipment, which is only a part of fluid power customer base, but very large customer base. They themselves try to buy components in India and export to the other plant location. Second, today we heard from CNH point of view, they want to build equipment itself in India and export to different countries. Wonderful. It's a further value up. And the second or the third part of it is like how do we as a component manufacturer in India serve to the Indian markets, which is also growing very fast, probably the best in class in the world today. So from that perspective, I think all these three things stack up for an MNC company very well. That what we require to do is man, create talent. We all say that government has to do something. We all say that universities have to do something. But what we forget is we have to also do something. So I'll say that as an industry, we should try and encourage taking it from the graduate colleges, graduate engineering colleges, freshers, which itself is a great thing to do. Just to quote something here. Yesterday night, if you have seen on CNBC, they talked about average salary in Bangalore. Different cities they were talking about. Bangalore is the best paid job at 27,800. Average salary in Bangalore is 27,800. Can any one of you raise your hand and tell me you get an employee at that cost today? We don't. Even at twice that cost, you don't get a person there. So, what is lagging is basically the cost is so low, so we can definitely afford. But how do we make them more productive? Obviously, my panelists will say that, I have developed a talent and you will take away, or somebody else will take away. So if all of us develop the talent, it's a wonderful time. Most of us, especially working in the MNCs, are employees, whether we are CEOs or any other level. So we are doing a great service to this nation if we train those graduate engineers and create that environment that more talented people come to this industry. Today the biggest challenge we have is talent do not want to come to this industry. They want to go to IT sector, computer engineering, maybe with AI coming in, probably more talent will go that side. But I think if we do that environment, even if we get B-class colleges coming and working for us, I think it's a great opportunity to create a platform, and they are also somebody's brother and sisters or daughter and a son. Why not to do that? That's how countries' education level or skill sets goes up. Now, the second part, considering the time available to me, I would have elaborated more. Okay, I thought probably my time was up. Yeah.
Sorry, it's not necessary that you have to follow any one system.
Okay.
You want to go ahead for 10 minutes, do that. If you want to stop after 3 minutes and come again later, it's informal. Just do it.
Wonderful. So the second part, we talk about men. Now, look at the material part of it. We all typically tend to export also. We don't make it only today. Still, all the large companies tend to export. Whether it is 10% or 40% of their production, they do export. There, everything is not available in India. The component, the child parts or whatever you call them, is not available in India. Our government has decided to make in India, wonderful step, and we are the ones who are actually helping them to earn foreign exchange. Probably as a society, we have to also take a deep dive to figure out what are the components, the child parts, not being made in India, not available in India. There are many steel items which are not available today in India. So as a society, we should have a representation to whether it is steel industry or it is DGFT to tell them that I am an exporter, help me out with this, which is 4, 5, 10% of my import content or the total content of the product, and I can make the product available to my OEMs in India and then export. So that's one thing which to me looks like material availability is so very important. While we also work with our fellow industries or the industry very close to that product line to develop those products in India. So that over a period of time the supply chain is all within the country. But it doesn't happen overnight. It takes 3 to 5 years for localization to happen in that space. And machine. Wonderful. We are being I come from an MNC, Gates Corporation. So we see that everyday basis, machines being built earlier in Japan, still continues to be in Japan, especially on the semicon side, automation side, then Korea, and then China now. And we see now a lot localization stuff happening in this space. The insistence on localization is not cost reason only. Probably we are confining ourselves to construction equipment in a lot of discussions, but expand this to other industry. There are many places where you cannot participate because the customer insists on localization for him to qualify for government incentive. Without localization, government will not give them incentive. Electric scooters, let's take that way. Electric scooters, if you don't make 50% of the content in India, you are not authorized to have that incentive of 10,000 per scooter, at the peak value. So you require to localize. So that's an essential thing which will happen over a period of time. And then engineering, from our side, the best talent available is in India. This is very common what we all say. Though that talent pool is basically 10% of the population or maybe a little less than that, it's a different matter. But if you look at all the global CEOs on the technology front, they are all Indians. What is missing probably is that we have to widespread this. And as a company, if we cannot develop a global capability center in India, then there is something wrong. So I think I'll take the responsibility on myself, look in the mirror and say, have I been able to do that? To create global capability center in India. So if you are an American company, there will be first global capability center in US. But why can't second be in India? If they already have one in China, why can't third be in India? And how do we go as leaders here sitting all here is to give them confidence on, there are 2-3 things what they require. They require good engineers. I think India is having plenty of them, though we say that it is difficult. But as I said, if we address the first problem, the way I said, you can do that. Second is very important is IP protection. And then what else they want is scaling up. Can you really scale it up? I think we are demonstrating in every spree, whether it is the mobile phones, whether you take it any electronic method and so on and so forth. We are able to showcase that we can do it in India. So that's from my side. I'll come back if I have more questions. Thank you.
We had some sub-questions. How to breed confidence among MNC companies? That's what you covered very well, Rajesh. To design products in India. Critical to this endeavor would be the availability of highly trained, motivated technical talent. And how can we ensure their continuous training and exposure to global product development practices? And Global Capability Center was already covered by Rajesh, so I'm sure the other panelists will be covering. More importantly, is our Indian companies not able to leverage of the latest tools for design, AI and ML, so many things are being thrown up. Are we using those tools properly? I wish you can also cover that. Ramesh.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks, FPSI, Mr. Srikanth, Mr. Vineet, and of course, Mr. Sesh, for giving this opportunity to share some of my thought process in this August gathering. I'm an odd man out with few exceptions, like Mr. Sesh or Mr. Alan, who are into pneumatics, a softer side than high pressure hydraulics. But nevertheless, both are part of fluid power, and I think I can talk something which is relevant. Basically, I think the point Mr. Sanjay highlighted that it's an India moment, and there is no doubt about it. The government giving a lot of PLIs and schemes in which incentives are available, subject to the value addition of 50% in India. Technology availability is not an issue. Market is not an issue. Overseas companies seeing India not an issue. So nothing is an issue, basically, technically speaking. But the critical part is the resource, that is the people part, which I think will be repeated, highlight in any meetings, we can say. I think we can take some examples of how software industry developed in India as in the last 30 years. Semiconductor is coming to India, but please remember every equipment used for this manufacturing is imported. Tata's imported thousands of robots and they were waiting and searching for programs to run the robots. They could import the robots because it's available in the market, but they couldn't get people who can program the robots to make the phone. So the entire country was deprived of all these skills. So it means the scale, as you told, 2x, 3x, it may be even more than that. So that is a huge, a gap we can say. So the traditional marketing or tradition pain of projecting like we are so and so, these things I think that is behind. So now everything is in front of us, which I think he referred to his speech, that is how we capture and make use of it. I think, in my perspective, we may have to modularize everything, probably, then only we can achieve the scale. The challenge is people. Equipments or infrastructure, I think to some extent is manageable. Maybe it may improve in the next 5 years or 10 years with expressways and transport systems. But if we see the engineering challenge, the predominant pain we have is in the lack of design depth in our youngsters. Like the taste for design warrants a lot of patience and a lot of depth to ensure the design is done. Similarly, the manufacturing process like supply chain or operations using IT, just-in-time technologies, everything has to be implemented in manufacturing so that we can bring agility, varieties, you can handle varieties as well as volumes, and you can adjust your supply chain according to your requirement. So operational part is completely different because the guys who come from colleges, they are absolute zero on what is really an operation is. In fact, non-engineering graduates, especially MBAs, are much better because that in operations now you need number crunching more than the analytics more than the actual content of engineering. So this is the second part, and the third part is the part of the application engineering or the solutions to the customers. Just becoming a mere component supplier may not help in the value addition. So we need a very well qualified application engineers to ensure the customer is able to get whatever he needs. It may be a component, it may be a subassembly, or it may be anything. So if we divide our engineering requirement into these three parts, there are plenty, thousands of colleges and universities in the country. If we are able to get competent, plugins with these institutes, I think we will be able to sort out the human resource side of the problem. It needs a phenomenal effort, which as genetics individually as a company, we are trying to do with associating with. This is a model which is exhibited by many of our competitors or the original companies who invented pneumatics. They do all these things. They have a very strong tie-up with the colleges and universities. So the same model has to be applied here. We can't work in silos. This is a time where we have to trust and we have to collaborate along with the students in the colleges. I think these two fundamentally, one is modularization of our induction, and second is focusing more on the design and the engineering aspect will definitely alleviate most of the problems. As we are a product company and we have a brand building exercise which we have to promote our brand, we have to manufacture thousands of variety of components starting from 50 rupees to 50,000 rupees. So we have everything to be attended, and the raw material is very critical. Most of our raw materials are imported, but unfortunately nobody in India can extrude an aluminum tube to the extent of the tolerance what we want, even today. So we are dependent on basic raw materials. And now the government says you can't import stainless steel, you can't import aluminum. So we have to import our barrels as a component, not as a raw material, probably. So it is a very tough situation now with the geopolitical and UCA type of situation. I think it's a challenge, but what is provoking us is why not we develop, why not we source something inside our country. It's going to take some time. So we are also thinking of how to develop these things. In fact, we ourselves have gone reverse, like we have put our own coil manufacturing, which was available very easily from Italy. We have made our own solenoid coil divisions, we have made our own extrusion business. So we are actually going end to end. The reverse of globalization is helping us, or I don't know whether it's really helping us, but it is putting us back to basics. So I think this is the situation as far as we are facing. I think the same thing will be with most of the hydraulics. You are 5 or 6 times more bigger than pneumatics business. So your issues and your pains will be much bigger than what we have, but it is the same, I feel. And that's a few points I just wanted to share. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ramesh. Very interesting points you brought out. Shanda, he's part of the company which is the largest fluid power company in the world.
Hey, good evening, everyone. I think in the beginning, Mr. Sanjay Sridhar has set up the context and the platform right. So first, I can touch upon Shesh on the global scaling. Okay. My thoughts around that is, look, the MNC, I just talked about that has an access to the technology. But what is also important is, for MNC, the access to market is available. The businesses are running across the globe, they have engagement with customers, so access to market is available. For companies who are in India, operating in India, they have to invest to access those markets. For the MSMEs, the tier 2, tier 3 who are our value partners, they have to invest if they want to go to it. And I think Sanjay put it in his talk that they can always piggyback, leveraging those global reach that they have. But the life is never easy, it's not going to be easy. In a multinational company, even though you have access to the market, you don't get business on your platform. Even if you are very cost effective. What it takes is a couple of things. We all are working towards it, and this forum is important that we understand that and raise our bar around those areas. One, definitely to have a very strong operational excellence with a strong manufacturing capability. Because you know what happens in that case, the competition is not external, the competitions are internal. Someone sitting at the corporation headquarters has to decide to put that investment in India, Mexico, Vietnam, Malaysia, where? And they don't have an emotional connect with India like we have. While we can be an ambassador of India, we will be very patriotic about India, we keep on pitching. But at the end of the day, the result will matter. So you need to have a very high manufacturing capability. What does it mean is, you need to have a zero defect mindset. Because the cost of poor quality can be very, very high. Automation would be the need of an hour. Why automation is not taking off largely in the fluid power is because we are looking at ROI. The cost of people, the wage as a percentage of sales may still be making sense rather than an upfront investment of automation. What we are forgetting here is the consistency that it will bring, the productivity that it will bring, the lean and the flow that's going to help. And these are all the benchmarks are being done when we assess the capability of a company. And not only within our four walls, but with the extended value partners our supply partners, so that we create that capability around the whole ecosystem that Shesh you talked about. Now that again brings to the point that what type of talent that we need in the industry. If my data goes right, in a country like India, around 5 million STEM graduates comes up every year. Industry is still struggling for a relevant skills of people. Now we all want the industry relevant skills, but are we willing to invest? Right? I want it too. I want ready skills. My co-panelist also wants ready skills, but are we willing to invest? There would be a high attrition because the aspiration level would be different. So be it. Even if 50% people get retained, 50% industry takes over, fair enough. 25% might go overseas. But thinking that whether I am a training school, why should I invest? That's the wrong decision that we are taking. That's how we need to think. Third very important point. It's not a zero-sum game. We have to make it a win-win. What do I mean by that? As a society, we need to make sure that we are improving the profitability of the fluid power business and industry. We are saying put automation, we are saying put investment on talent. People have to make money first, no? People in the fluid power are struggling to make the EBITDA the way multinational expects. Why should they invest? Why should they invest? They are businessmen. I can be very passionate about India, so what? But what we do is we squeeze ourselves, we squeeze our partners. And as a fluid power society, not only overall society in India, as India, we are thumping our chest that we are most cost effective, but we are also not understanding that we are the least profit making organizations. Most of the MNC's revenue, most I say. So if we want to scale up, we need to think big. How? How should I contribute? Why someone should invest? Why they will buy from us? And we will only be successful if this whole value chain is successful. Individually I can't, because I depend on the tier 2, tier 3. So that would be my point on the profitability side. There is still, as I think Sanjay covered very well on the VUCA piece, geopolitical situations are not helping. It's making our endeavor to do more from India a little tougher. Global MNCs are now thinking, is it good to source from a distant locations or in region for region, in view of COVID, Ukraine-Russia war, Red Sea issues, logistics becoming a big challenge. So should they look at manufacturing strategy implementation from the cost point of view or from the resilient supply chain point of view? Because meeting customer need is important, cost will come second. You can have a better cost, but you can't meet the demand of a customer, so what's the point? Right? So the life is not going to be easier with this whole global, and then on top of it, depends on the mood of the new American president. Everyone says what will happen on 20th January. Right? So, if we take care of a couple of things, invest, but before investing you have to make money. It's a chicken and egg story. I expect my supplier to put money on people, yes. I expect my supplier to put money on machines, yes. But I'm not interested to know whether that poor guy has a cash flow issue or does he make money or no. I've sat in many discussions and negotiations with my customer as well as with my supplier. Boss, give me material next to my plant, put the warehouse. Intelligent people are there. We can further build on it. Or we can further build on it. As I said, more than 5 million graduates are coming up from the STEM stream. Academia, industry, working together, investing on people. That's only going to help further flourish this engineering services. Because it's a direct no geopolitical issues unless there's a tax problem. If Mr. Donald Trump put another 25-30% tax on the engineering services export, that can be a roadblock for us. But with regards to putting those, with regards to upgrading the talent, you don't have to have a resilient supply chain, no Red Sea problem, no Ukraine war issues, because we just have to export the services, right? So other than the tax issues, I don't see anything, and that business in India will flourish more. I know many multinationals, whose engineering services exports are much larger than the export of goods. Their investment in India for the engineering services is threefolds, fourfolds, compared to the investment they do on the manufacturing piece. Right? We'll continue to build on that, of course. But can we leverage that to build more of manufacturing is what is the key. And that will help the industry in a larger piece. If I build a strong engineering services, my tier 2, tier 3 will not get it. So the industry will not flourish. That company will flourish. So that's where I would say my thoughts are, Ashish.
Thank you so much, Anand. You raised some very relevant, pertinent points. You mentioned about how automation needs to be deployed. You mentioned about people training or developing talent, even if you happen to lose some person. And most importantly, to make profits at the end of the day. But just a small counterpoint just for everybody's thinking. Since you mentioned there are 5 million STEM graduates coming out every year, the total number of people adding to the workforce every year in India is 10 million. 15 million. So we have to create 1 million jobs per month if we have to keep unemployment at low levels. We definitely are not creating 1 million jobs in the Indian economy. So there is a counterpoint on how much automation you do, because the more automation you do, the less is the number of people you will employ over a period of time, not immediately. But then automation is required, as you mentioned very correctly, for consistency, for reliability, and for productivity too. So it's a thing that we need to talk about and think about. I'm sure, sorry, what's this? Go ahead.
I think that's a very valid point. But see, I've seen apply automation more in the core manufacturing, right? Leverage them more onto the strategy, the design, the development, engineering services piece, right? So entrepreneurship would also rise.
Yeah.
So we'll still have a lot of talent available.
Thanks. Now, Balaji comes from a varied background. He's got exposure in finance, he's got exposure in management, he's got exposure in technology. He's a multifaceted person. He's been on the board of companies, he's also been an investor himself, guiding companies. So we would like to hear your multifaceted views.
Good evening, everyone. So, let me give you a different perspective from what all of you talked about. Basically, I'm sure that all of you have resonated with whatever they said, because it's a part of the same family, I think. To me, that's looking inward. I want you guys to start looking out and seeing as to what else is happening around the world. So let me give you both and for a moment, I'm not denying anything that you guys are saying or whatever it is, but I'm just giving a comment for something to think about. I'll give you 3 statistics to start with. Government of India is spending almost 11 lakh crores in terms of capex in a year. There has been some challenges this year because of elections, so don't hold me or anybody against it, but it's happening. Private sector is investing more than 3 lakh crore in capex every year. In the next several years, this figure is only going to go up, it's not going to come down. That remains an opportunity for whoever is in the business, in whichever form you want to look at it. The number of GCCs in India is about 170, employing 1.1 million people. So 170 GCCs, MNCs, employing 11 lakh. You may call them talented, not employable, whatever you want you can call them, but they're employed. And they're doing it. And there are more in the queue waiting to come. We have the third largest number of startups in India. Maybe in different businesses, a lot of us may not agree. I don't agree on some of the startups, the way they're funded or the way they're valued, whatever, but they're there. And they are not complaining. We may complain, we may keep saying that, this guy is getting value, this is blah blah blah, but then are they complaining? No, they are very happy and they are getting more money. You get Zepto, you get whatever. Things that we have not even thought about can get valued and can get funding. Somebody was telling me yesterday, Zomato versus Coal India. The profit of the profit of Coal India is the turnover of Zomato. But the valuation of Zomato is more than the Coal India. No comparisons, but this is there. Zomato is, I'm sure a lot of you would have also. So these are three important statistics to look at. If the fluid power industry, according to me and from whatever I have been reading, may be about 12 to 14,000 crores. Do not compare with any of these figures, as Shranda said, may not even fit in this, whichever decimal you are wanting to look at. What are we talking about? We are saying we have problems. And we are saying that we need to figure out how to address these problems. I'm not talking about the process, I'm not talking about anything else, but these three are common topics that keep happening. I have been personally associated over the last 30 years in building companies with people who are not come from any specific industries. From the industry that never were there or whatever it was, but then they went in and did it. So I have one thing that I want to tell all of you is that if you don't do this, somebody else will do it. Be very, very clear. We can keep cribbing, saying that I got this problem, problem A, problem B, problem C, but then somebody else will come and say, because I don't see any of these problems, I am going to do it. What are the things that also happens over here if you look at the startups, the way they get funded and what it is? In the last several years we're reading is that they don't have this fear of the unknown. Most of the old entrepreneurs, especially the Indian entrepreneurs, and this is something that I've seen for the last 30 years. Unlike the Western countries or unlike anywhere else, the Indian entrepreneurs think that the company that they have set up is an extension of their own personality. Okay, it's not separate. Whereas in the West you look at it, the company is separate, I am separate. The promoter is always separate from the company. He looks at it as a product to make money out of, to monetize it. He doesn't look at it as any other. He doesn't look at it as I and me are the same. No, you have seen that. Yeah, there's no attachment. There's a passion, but there's no attachment. Here it is not there. Here there is sometimes passion is not there, but attachment is definitely there. I will not let go. That's very clear. If I am not there, then what happens? Now, a lot of you, if you start getting out of that mindset, and here again I got two things to say, because all the things that I say are not applicable to the best managers working here from the MNCs. And I have this firm belief that, the difference between a best manager and the owner, the entrepreneur, is only one. The entrepreneur takes a risk, the manager does not take a risk. But I believe that the best talent is the people who manage, and the best talent is not the promoter who puts the money. The promoter only puts the money to say this. Why I am telling you this is, a lot of things may not be applicable to you, but the fact that you are going to work with this MSMEs or the companies or your supply chain, whether you are MNC or whether you are so that is going to be, you need to figure out as to what is making him work. The biggest problem that we all are facing today is that companies, look at UCAN for example, we started with 30 years back, there are small companies that we work with. They all made money. We may or may not have made money, but they all made money, sent the children abroad, they studied there, they came back and said, why am I doing this? They all go to a startup or work somewhere else. This guy has diverted all the money out and he has built a building, he has built a house, he's got a car, he's got the children studied. So technology, as somebody said, is accessible. You will get it. Whatever it is, you pay for it, you will get it. Are you willing to pay? No. Then you are scared. Then there is a fear of unknown. Will it fail? I don't know. And they have a huge center over here, their own center. Plus they work with Wipro and a couple of others to design most of the products that are manufactured outside India. So they very clearly say that I don't have any problem in getting a product designed in India. And this is for aerospace. Okay, we are not discussing any other thing but aerospace. His problem is what? And that's the same problem that all of us also face, is that if I want to go to vendor and develop a product, there has to be a prototyping facility. There are no prototyping facilities available in India. No supplier is willing to set up a prototyping facility. No supplier is willing to set up a large testing center because it requires investment. And the time that it takes from prototyping to serial production can be anywhere from 6 months to 3 years. Yeah, nobody has the patience. So if you don't address some of these things, now who is going to fund him in this particular period? You want the MSME to invest. We had somebody coming and asking us, sir, we want to do global testing of cylinders over here. And this was by a software company, okay? They designed cylinders for global market. They came to us and asked, can you do it? You want to invest in the testing center. The investment was 90 crores. How many companies are willing to do that kind of investment and wait for the business to happen? So you have to start thinking from the angle as to how will I develop my larger partner ecosystem. Don't say that I want to develop the last guy, because I do believe that as the businesses start becoming larger, the number of companies and MSMEs will also become smaller, and the number will reduce, but the value of business that will grow. How will you invest with them? MNCs can look at saying that can I also co-invest along with you in developing some of these common facilities like prototyping and testing centers, which can then help a larger set of industries to MSMEs to come together to keep supplies open.
It's a very interesting point. Thanks so much for that. In fact, one important takeaway.
I just wanted to talk about one more thing on the talent and university. I am part of university, so I can also talk about it. I just want to tell you about, I have been part of the engineering companies, and I am also part of pharma companies. I sit on the board of several pharma companies. The difference between a pharma company and an engineering company I've seen is, engineering companies, everybody says that, look, I have to produce, I have to produce, I have to grow, I have to meet a target. So there is no time for training and everything. We talk about it, but I have not seen the kind of training that is required to be given. Like today, no training today, because there is a production, so you work. I have seen one thing in pharma companies. 20% of the time is for training and learning. Irrespective of the size of the company, and irrespective of whether there is a production problem or not, the people who have to compulsorily attend, because if you don't, the risk is that somebody may die because of the negligence. Here that problem does not exist. Of course, here also the problem is that the train may fall on the head, but nobody bothers. No flow, no path. Nobody bothers. But there, one person dying somewhere in the world, the company is shut. Here the issue is not there, so you are not really bothered. So we do lip service on training, but we don't spend that time and effort that's required to train. Employability will happen only if you train the people, otherwise it's not going to happen. Just look at it, we have 169 GCCs employing 1.1 million people. This is a real statistic. I'm not even discussing the IT, the back office, the call center and all that. This is GCC. And if you say talent is not available, then where did this 1.1 lakh guys come from? Somebody put in that effort. So put that effort and give that people. I'm always saying there's nobody available. Okay, you can do one thing, you can do an application to God. After 9 months, somebody will come, and 21 years later, you may have that.
Thank you, Balaji. That's a very hard-hitting, down-to-earth, but different perspective. Last point to make, emphasize what Shandar was saying and Ramesh was also saying on training people. But just last point, so you mentioned one about testing. This is a point which a lot of fluid power companies are speaking about. And what we in FPSI intend to do is we are building a corpus fund now. So part of the sponsorship money that we get for the fluid power technical seminar and so on, a greater portion of that is going towards building a corpus fund. The idea is for Fluid Power Society of India to set up testing and prototyping facilities in the near future. Of course, we will come to you with
Do it PPP.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll come to that. So this just I thought I'll put it to the heads of the people, because India lacks testing facilities in fluid power, and we intend to redress that. I'll hand the floor over to Mr. Muthusekhar now.
Thank you, Satish. I will share about two experiences very shortly. One is Hailstone Innovations. In 2022, we were a 120 crore company. We decided that we have to go for 1,000 crores in 5 years. The first thing we did is a 3D program. What is 3D program? Delete some of the products from the catalog, which was very low selling. So we deleted those products. Second, we deferred some projects because some projects were very important. So we thought we will defer some projects. Like we want to get into coal sector, we said we will go to coal sector later. We will defer those projects. Third was delegate. We had a team, and we were lacking in corporate business. We were lacking in North India and some parts of India business. We were lacking in exports. So we decided that we will delegate and we will do. So this 3D, if we don't do this 3D, the fourth D would have been happened. I don't want to use a harsh word of death, but I'm saying diminishing would have happened. So this is the hailstone story. Second, Mr. Rajesh Nath is there and Kapil is also here. So they know. When I joined a German company, MNC, in 2011, minus 26% EBITDA. You can understand it more better. Minus 26% EBITDA. And it had an income tax case of 18 crore. The case was very simple. The turnover was only 40 crores. 18 crore case was very similar to Skoda. In short, if I have to tell you, if Mercedes-Benz wants to, nothing happens to Sebastian, if Mercedes-Benz wants to come to India, they think that India market is, low class or, poor people or the per capita consumption is low. So let us come with only A-class model and B-class model. Unfortunately, in India, if somebody wants to buy a German product, they will not buy A-class or B-class, they will definitely go for C, E, M, S, that's a kind of, so that's what was happening with Nord. Nord was having all kind of small gearboxes, worm gearboxes, and the stock was so huge. So the first thing when I entered, I didn't want to tell straight in front to them. I said, I will increase the scoreboard, I will create the trust, I will bring in transparency with my team, I will tell them what we are today, where we have to go. Then, put up to the German management saying that these products completely have to be taken out because we cannot sell it in India. And the CFO told me that, okay, we have sold it for 100 euros, then, more than 2 or 3 years, you have to sell it for 90 euros. I first told him that it will be a FERA violation. Yeah, in those days. You cannot bring and then you cannot sell it low. I said at least mark up for 5% and then, we'll sell it back. So we sold it back and then, we got the right products which will go into the market. And I think everybody knows the story, which I don't know how to tell. From 40 crores, we went to 290 crores and minus 26% EBITDA went to 24% positive EBITDA. So why I am telling this is that it's possible. And one is an MNC and one is an Indian company. So that's the reason I want to bring in this kind of references. Thank you.
Fantastic. Yeah. Very inspiring story.
There is no money in fluid power.
We've had a very engaging discussion. But before we close, I just want to put a thought into your minds. Which is, as Shankar mentioned, it is not a zero-sum game. It's not that, we all have to compete in the marketplace with different customers. If I go to Sanjay from Valvoil and I get an order, it doesn't mean to say that either Shankar or Kapil or somebody else is going to lose out. So we don't have to think in those lines, because what Sanjay is speaking about is purchases of 70 million going up to 400 million. He's just simply expanding the cake. But it's not only CNH. Most companies worldwide are beginning to come to India and use it as a manufacturing hub. And what does that mean? They want to manufacture machines, they want to manufacture products and sell it in different parts of the world. There's huge opportunities for growth for companies based in manufacturing in India. So the point I want to say is collaborate and cooperate, but also compete. Thank you so much to the panelists.
One point.
Sorry.
Which I have been advocating now, PLI scheme, everybody knows that, PLI scheme, I would say it's for allied class. So that's the way I put it. Maybe CNH kind of companies can use the PLI scheme or Gates or somebody. What we need to advocate as a Fluid Power Society and BDMA and many other forums is we have to do DLI. What is DLI? District level incentive schemes. The district level incentive schemes, it could be, done with both state and central, which will help the MSMEs and small companies, bringing talents, retaining talents, all this can happen if this DLI scheme is introduced. Thank you.
I hope that people here, the senior guys in the industry, to consider some insights and we can all start working, collaborating and trying to change things and putting India on the global map of fluid power industry. Today's event is a net zero carbon footprint event. This is one of the reasons for choosing Radisson Blue as the venue. The thing is that, including me and a lot of us here, not very wanting a lot from fluid power society, and we don't know what the hell we want. So the next few minutes, we try to make it quick, but we really want to know what you want.
Yeah, so like I said, one of the initiatives that we have taken in order to transform the FPSI is understand from you, what do you want us to do? What do you want all of us to do, right? So as a part of that initiative, we're going to take a feedback survey, which is done on the Mentimeter. So what I would request is please scan the QR code. You will be then able to start giving your inputs that will be presented in real time, so all of us know. I would request everybody, each one of you, to kindly scan and give your honest inputs.